rezone the property and if necessary, amend the OCP to reflect your proposal.
If you're going to go less than 2 hectares? Is that what you said?
Yeah, if you're applying for a rezone, if the OCP supports it, then you don't need to amend the OCP. If it doesn't support it, then you have to amend the OCP as well. The key is, though, that in both processes, they become public processes, so neighboring property owners and the general public have an opportunity to review the proposal and make their comments at a public hearing before the decision is made by the board.
So there's a lot of properties out there that aren't reflected in the OCP. So how did that work? Like if the OCP
So
was
the whole
each application.
The whole of electoral area B is covered by the OCP.
There's a lot of properties that don't fall on the current guidelines, right? Like currently our status is we're supposed to be what? We're all supposed to live on 10 acres? And I can list you a ton that aren't that size. So I'm curious, like the OCP has to be every application that people put in? Do you go and ask?
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. Currently, though, I will say that in the areas, and I'll give an example of Bacon Bench, for instance, that it's stated for a 10-acre minimum. There is a lot of properties right now up on Bacon Bench that are not 10-acre minimums. They have been divided by physical attributes to the property, whether there's a road going through or a creek going through it that physically divides the property. And I believe there's acreage just lower than 3 acres on the Bacon Bench. So when you're looking at this and you're saying, yikes, we can only have 10, you already don't have that. And if you look at what we have in the Bacon Bench, just to use that as an example, if you were to take the acreages that are on there and subdivide them down to the 10 acres that is currently there, you would automatically double the population in the Bacon Bench area. So there's land, that's subdividable land up there already. Now, if you add on the other factors of the other subdivisions that I just spoke of before, and the family subdivisions off of that, then you can get even more density up there. And if you go through the development process where you look at your property and go to a cluster housing to get it down to 5 acres, then if you've got 40 acres, you can go down to 5 acres depending on how your development plan is. That development plan, though, has to go through a public process. So anything under that 10 acres that doesn't fit within anything under the 10 acres, not an OCP amendment, the development permit process that you would go through so that the neighbors would know what you're doing and why you're doing it.
From the board that you're recommending this to the board above you, right? To the regulators above you?
The OCP will be approved by the board. Is that what you're asking?
Right.
It has to be approved by the board.
If you had a situation where you had something that was quite different than what the vision in the OCP was, and it needed a rezoning and OCP amendment, that would all be, it wouldn't be like have to do one and you have to do another 6 months later. You would do it all together. It would be considered as a unit. It wouldn't be like stringing out an approval process for, making you go through one group first and then another one. It would be just, if you would do this, you would handle a single application. It would just be looking at doing both things at the same time.
My name is Paul Jones. I'm currently a resident of Revelstoke, long-term resident of this valley, and anticipate wanting to move into the rural area in response to preparing myself for eventual retirement. The question that I have is that it seems that in with Scott Monroe's remarks, there needs to be, or I would hope to think, that the CSRD and the regional district would make some attempt to address the affordability and also the suitability of the applications forthcoming and are currently before it. Not everybody is in an economic position to be able to afford a 2-hectare parcel of land, nor does some of the real estate or the topographical land in the area support areas of topographical features that support smaller parcels due to the fact that it's able to support the drainage, the water supply requirements, the non-interference with the neighborhood, all of those things which need to be looked at to provide a rational, equitable evaluation of the land. We live in a valley with a very restricted land resource base that's due partly to nature, partly to past provincial governments and BC Hydro. That's what we have today. And speaking personally, I would like to see the CSRD entertain applications, perhaps down as small as 1 hectare, to use of the existing land base, and also to create stable communities for people who wish to live in the area, and also to make things affordable for the future. Not all of us are going to be in a position to be able to afford not only to purchase a 5-acre parcel, but also to maintain the taxes and the other costs that are going to be related to that in the future.
That's a really good point, Paul, and that's something that was brought up at the Advisory Planning Committee, and that's part of the debate about the size of the growth of our community and how we grow, how we grow. We've talked around that. There are people that want to have the big fence remain exactly the way it is without any change, and there's people that would like to see it go down to 1 acre. So what we've done with this plan is we've tried to find a balance, and we've allowed for smaller than the 10-acre parcel. And I think we've reached a fairly good compromise in that respect. So that's what we presented in the plan at this time. And one thing we can't do as local government, I should say, is we can't make this land in this area affordable for everybody to have. It's not our job to do that. We can't regulate realty prices. We can't stop the outside market forces. We're not the ones, I guess, that 6,000 ski hill on our doorstep that has caused a lot of stir in the community. What we're trying to do is we're trying to find a balance so that we can retain our people in our community, allow for some growth in our rural area, and try and keep you all here. So with that, I see Chick, you were right, you were on our speaker list, so you're up next for speaking. Thanks.
I'm not exactly sure, since I wasn't here, not exactly sure what's been said or what's been talked about. But I live, for those of you that don't know who I am, I live about 8 miles south of town in what you call South Revelstoke, or rural Revelstoke. I have 10 acres of property down there. And there are a number of people that live down in that same area, basically in the same position I'm in. And that is that we have borrowed a fair bit of money to live there. I've been a long-term resident of Revelstoke 30 years. And at this point, house insurance, property taxes, things are going up. And if I'm not able to subdivide at least 5 acres off and sell it, then I can guarantee you that within 2 years, I won't be a resident of Revelstoke anymore. I will be gone. The karate club that I've run for 30 years will probably disappear, and there will be a number of other people that are in the same position that I'm in. Things are just, I pay over $3,000 a year just for house insurance out there now. And that doesn't count property tax. It doesn't count a number of other things that go into living in a place like that. 5 acres, in my opinion, would not dramatically alter or change the lifestyle in that area. It would still be a rural area. It would still be a nice area to live in. And that's true. I know I'm not the only position. I'm not the only person in that position out there. There are a number of other people that will be doing the same thing.